is Unified Webo, your host of the program. On today's show, we are looking at what the papers are saying, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. We would like to go first to leadership, so see what is offering in his menu today. Leadership leading story says fear grips businesses as U.S. trade war escalates. Fear grips businesses as U.S. trade war escalates. Trump unveils sweeping new tariffs. Crypto market loses $90 billion. How Nigeria can minimize impact, according to experts. These are kickers to the leading story on leadership this Wednesday. Fear grips businesses as U.S. trade war escalates. Trump unveils sweeping new tariffs. Crypto market loses $90 billion. How Nigeria can minimize impact, experts. Today, Wednesday, April 2, 2025. And incidentally, we are also in a new month. Happy new month to you out there. Still on leadership, 51 illegal migrants arrested in Nasarawa. Roaming killings, DSS arrests two principal suspects. CBN records $23.11 billion net forest reserve. Natasha defies security ban, visits constituency. We move towards the masthead of leadership. Northern elders hate Tinubu over improved security. The story is on page 4 of leadership. On the business boss of leadership, delay to extend Naira for crude policy threatens fuel prices, inflation. Delay to extend Naira for crude policy threatens fuel prices, inflation. The Nigerian government's failure to extend the Naira for crude policy for local refineries, including Dangote refinery, has raised concerns over imminent fuel price hikes and a resurgence of inflationary pressures. The policy, which enabled local refineries to purchase crude oil in Naira rather than in dollars, was responsible for the recent decline in petrol prices. However, with the program's expiration in March and no plans for renewal, economic analysts have warned of severe consequences for consumers of the product, businesses, and the overall economy. The business bus story today on leadership, delay to extend Naira for crude policy threatens fuel prices, inflation. And atop the masthead of leadership today is World Autism Day, and in recognition to commemorate the day, 15-year-old Kane Kachuku's epic journey to create a record-breaking painting. The story goes on page 7 of leadership. And also to commemorate the day, we have today's stand on embracing autism in Nigeria. Of embracing autism in Nigeria. Today's stand in leadership newspaper. Let's take a snippet from that stand today. Every year on 2nd April, the world celebrates World Autism Awareness Day. This awareness about autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and promoting acceptance and understanding of individuals with autism. It's a day to celebrate the unique abilities and talents of individuals with autism while acknowledging their daily challenges. With this year's global theme, Advancing Neurodiversity, we face the uncomfortable truth that our nation has fallen woefully short in addressing autism with the urgency and compassion it demands. Just before we move on from today's stand, as we mark World Autism Awareness Day 2025, let it not be merely another observance on the calendar, but the beginning of a national commitment to advancing neurodiversity in meaningful ways. Nigeria's future prosperity depends on harnessing the full potential of all its citizens, including those with autism. We cannot afford to waste another generation of talent and possibility through ignorance, stigma, and institutional neglect. These are snippets from today's stand on leadership newspaper, a stand embracing autism in Nigeria in commemoration of today's World Autism Day. From our stand, we move over to the back page where we have Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. Today she's writing on jungle justice and the rule of law crisis in Nigeria. Jungle justice and the rule of law crisis in Nigeria. Talking about the Uromi 16 hunters killings. In quote, he said, mob justice can happen to anyone, male or female, young or old, and no one is safe from this disturbing tendency among Nigerians to act as both perpetrators and spectators of suffering. quote from today's Back Wednesday column with Olufunka Baruwa. She's writing on jungle justice and the rule of law crisis in Nigeria. Just before we leave the back page, let's go to Ghana Must Go. The news says MultiChoice loses nearly 4 million subscribers in 24 months. And the reply is, you mean 24 months? Sorry, 24 million in 4 months? It said you made 24 million in 4 months. That is a question you find us as still when you log into the website of Leadership website for continuation of these headline stories, inside stories, the stand today, and the back page Wednesday column with Olufunke Barawa. Don't forget, log into www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard is still on Uromi, 16 hunters killing. It says killings, Uromi on lockdown by security operatives. Police, military, plainclothes security officers at strategic junctions. FCID takes over investigation. Residents angry with government over poor response to kidnappings, killings. Blame mob action of frustration caused by government's inaction. Fears of reprisals still high. Take decisive actions against jungle justice. Igbo community in Kano tests federal government orders. CSO asks federal government to address rising wave of violence and security. CSO asks federal government to address rising wave of violence and security. However, in Leadership today, Northern elders hailed Tinubu over improved security. But one of the kickers to the leading story on Vanguard this morning say otherwise. We have the picture of the massive crowd at Akpoti Uduaghan's homecoming rally yesterday in Kogi State. Kogi Central stands still for Akpoti Uduaghan. Nobody can stop me, says lawmaker. She has no respect for rules, laws, Kogi government. This is a story for the photo on the cover of Vanguard for that homecoming. Massive crowd at homecoming rally for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Liberation Day, Nigeria's 4.59 trillion naira exports to US under threat. Leading story on Leadership today. Liberation Day, Nigeria's 4.59 trillion naira exports to US under threat as Trump announces new tariffs today. Nigerian pilgrims to enjoy better services as reps approve Hajj reforms. Sports. I'll convince Nwaneri to play for Super Eagles, coming from the coach, Chell. That takes us to the stories about the masthead of Vanguard. Ponzi scheme operators risk 10-year jail term, 20 million naira fine, SEC warns. Governor Sanyuri's riot act to monarchs over land grabbing. Killings, kidnapping, angry residents shot major roles in Otukpo, Benue State. Edo governorship hold dispute, anxiety as tribunal gives judgment today. That also concludes the review of front headline stories on Vanguard this Wednesday. For more, don't forget to log into the website of Vanguard newspaper. Let's move over to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is Daily Sun. Daily Sun is still on Natasha's homecoming rally. It says Natasha defies government, police storms Kogi. Huge crowd receives suspended senator. Leading story on today's Daily Sun newspaper. Natasha defies government, police storms Kogi. Huge crowd receives suspended senator. We have the picture of the senator and the mammoth crowd that came to welcome her yesterday in Kogi State. CBN posts $23.11 billion in net forest reserve, strongest position in 3 years. Edo Guba Election Tribunal delivers judgment today. Alleged leaked judgment goes viral online. Of course, there was report yesterday of a leaked judgment, Guba judgment. That is Edo Guba judgment that's to be delivered today. But how true is that remains to be seen when the judgment eventually is read out today. Tension as angry residents protest rising killings in Benue. And this also contradicts the earlier report on Leadership that Northern elders hate Tinubu over improved security. But however, reports on other newspapers we have on our lineup today contradicts that report. Tension as angry residents protest rising killings in Benue. DSS arrests 2 principal suspects of Uromi killings. Ponzi schemes promoters in Nigeria risk 10-year jail term. SEC says new act will backbite. We move towards the masthead of Daily Sun. Border control. Federal government vows to tackle organized immigration crime. Seeks collaboration of Sahel, West African countries. And beside the masthead, which incidentally is the last story on the cover of Daily Sun, Nigeria's stability security require collective efforts, coming from the Chief of Army Staff, or us. Nigeria's stability security require collective efforts. That also concludes review of front headline stories on Daily Sun newspaper this Wednesday. For more, log into www.thesun.dng. From Daily Sun, we have the THISDAY newspaper next in a lineup. THISDAY has different story as its cover. It says Cardoso jubilant, talking about the CBN governor. Cardoso jubilant as net forest reserves hit 3-year high, swears to $23.1 billion. Reveals position enough to withstand external shocks. $500 million World Bank loan. LCCI advises federal government to focus on addressing poor power supply, high energy cost. Says loan will provide short-term stimulus with unsavory long-term macroeconomic implications. These are riders to the leading story on THISDAY this Wednesday. Cardoso jubilant as net forest reserves hit 3-year high, swears to $23.1 billion. Above this leading story, we have the second leading story on this day, Wednesday, April 2, 2025. Tinubu says Kyari Akiyelure appoints Bayo Ojulari as new GCEO of NNPCL. Reconstitutes 11-man board with Amadu Kida as non-executive chairman. Tinubu says Kyari Akiyelure appoints Bayo Ojulari as new GCEO of NNPCL, that is Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL. Congratulations to the new board of NNPC. That takes us to the story above the masthead of this day. $5 billion Africa Energy Bank gains momentum with contributions from Nigeria, Angola, Ghana. $5 billion Africa Energy Bank gains momentum with contributions from Nigeria, Angola, Ghana. Lokobiri to IOCs. Nigeria has created right conditions. It's time to invest. Insist on withdrawal of licenses from unproductive oil field owners. Obi, there's no democracy in Nigeria. Federal government still hounding me. The story is on page 10 of this day. The presidential candidate of Labour Party, the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, says there's no democracy in Nigeria. Federal government still hounding me. The story is on page 10 of THISDAY newspaper. It's on that note we conclude review of front headline stories on THISDAY newspaper this Wednesday. Don't forget to log into the website of THISDAY to read more on the stories. www.thisdaylive.com. From THISDAY newspaper, we move to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is The Guardian. Incidentally, The Guardian is also the last paper we have for review this Wednesday. Main leading story says discourse may take 11 years, 1.4 trillion naira to breach 7.2 million metric gap. It's a leading story and continues on page 6 of the paper. Discourse may take 11 years, 1.4 trillion naira to breach 7.2 million metric gap. The story is on page 6 of The Guardian. However, we have illustration beneath that leading story. Let's take it one by one. We have metric pace, 576,161 meters and meters/year. Takes 13 years to meter 7.2 million customers. 13 years to meter 7.2 million customers. We have total registered customers at 13.5 million, whereas we have metered customers 6.2 million out of the registered metered customers. Out of the total registered customers of 13.5 million, we have metered customers of 6.2 million, which is about 46.57%. While we have unmetered customers at 7.2 million, which is 53.43%. Total meters installed since 2024 is 542,738, down from 609,585 in 2023. Quarterly meter installations in 2024. First quarter, we had 123,604. Second quarter of 2024, we had 49,188. Third quarter of 2024, 184,507. And fourth quarter, 185,439,000. Funding for metering initiatives, we had World Bank loan in 2023, $155 million for 1.2 million meters. We had World Bank credits 2024, that is $500 million for financial/technical support. We have meter assist financing, which is MAF, 21 billion naira, funded via tariffs. We have Presidential Metering Initiative, PMI, which stood at 700 billion naira. National Mass Metering Program, NMMP, 59.3 billion naira. The challenges: metering declined in 2024 versus 2023. MAP framework dominated installations 96.5% in last fourth quarter. NMPP stalled in third quarter and fourth quarter, phones exhausted. We have estimated billing still affects over 7.2 million customers. Discos with better metering plus higher revenue collection. Tariff and market shortfall in 2024 was 2 trillion naira. Tariff and market shortfall in 2024, 2 trillion naira. These illustrations I just read out are just beneath the leading story on today's The Guardian newspaper. Discos may take 11 years, 1.4 trillion naira to breach 7.2 million metering gap. The story continues on page 6 of The Guardian. We have still on that leading story on The Guardian, top performing discos in the country. We have Ikeja, we have Ibadan, we have Abuja, while we have low performing discos, Port Harcourt, Yola. These are also illustrations just beneath that leading story, where we have top performing discos, Ikeja, Ibadan, Abuja, while low performing discos, Port Harcourt, Yola. That concludes the review of the leading story, where we move over to other stories gracing the cover of The Guardian. Controversy over leaked tribunal judgment as Edo government, APC, PDP claim victory. Federal government to withdraw Edo oil blocks, charge IOCs to drill or drop. Kano justifies Sanusi's reinstatement as monarch pays Salam homage. Oko Don described deplorable state of Nigerian universities. Nigeria's net forest reserves rose to $23 billion in December, says CBN. Niger exists multinational joint task force is a new story that runs on page 30 of The Guardian. That takes us to the stories just beneath the masthead of The Guardian. I feel depressed over Rivers emergency rule, says Fubara, the suspended Rivers State governor. Natasha returns in chopper, addresses supporters at Ihima. Trump's third-term bid, bad omen for Africa, say Ozekome, other lawyers. Trump's third-term bid, bad omen for Africa, say Ozekome, other lawyers. The story is on page 3 of The Guardian this Wednesday. Don't forget to log into the website of The Guardian for continuation of these leading stories on The Guardian newspaper this Wednesday, April 2, 2025, www.guardian.ng. Well, viewers, on this note, we also conclude today's midweek edition of Inside Nigeria. Don't forget to log into www.leadership.ng for more stories. My name is Winifred Ogbogo. I look forward to having you on the same station, same platform for another fresh edition of the program Inside Nigeria. Thanks for joining us.
Get ready for the Leadership Awards and Conference 2024. Join us as we celebrate excellence across various fields, honoring those who've made remarkable impacts. Award categories include Person of the Year, Quinquennial Award for Governance and Infrastructure, Governors of the Year, Business Person of the Year, and many more. Stay updated by following us on social media and visiting our website, leadership.ng. For sponsorship and inquiries, contact us today. Leadership Award and Conference 2024, celebrating excellence, inspiring the future. Get ready for the Leadership Awards and Conference 2024. Join us as we
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.